I'm off camera today. What you're looking at is the fork and a caster from my 5-year-old wheelchair. The stem bearings failed last night and are in need of replacing. I've decided to restore my 5-year-old wheelchair. So since the fork and caster is off, I decided to give it a coat of spray paint after I sanded off the rust. So I'm restoring it because I need the power wheelchair to help me get around. I'm doing as much as I can myself and am having friends help me reach, bend, and lift what isn't possible for myself. I've spray painted the fork with trim-clad rust paint. It needs 2 to 4 hours for it to be touch dry, and it's 24 hours to fully cure. You can speed up the curing with heat, but there's a very fine balance to all of this. I am going to use heat, which is why am making this video. What they told me at the big box store where I bought this paint was light, gentle heat is best. Also, there is a bearing inside the wheel. Let me just point to it. It's in between the bolt here and in behind. That bearing cannot get as hot as my heat gun. So I have to be very careful to only aim for and briefly heat up the metal so it won't exceed the bearing specifications, or I won't be able to use the wheel and I'll have to replace that bearing as well. Right now I'm only wanting to do the stem bearings. The stem part I'm talking about is right here, and it is contained within this part on the wheelchair. So I'm just going to use my heat gun to heat it up right now to speed up the paint drying time. I just want to talk briefly about safety before I actually do this. I've got this extension cord here so that I can reach the fork to heat it up. This extension cord is rated for 15 amps. Anytime you use a heat-based appliance, you need to ensure that it exceeds the specifications of the heat appliance you're using, or you will cause a fire. I also want to tell you it's not recommended to use an extension cord with a heat-based appliance. With my physical limits, I have to accommodate my body's needs, and so I've done so safely with this orange cord. Secondly, this is the heat gun that I'm using. It's also known for stripping paint. I bought this at Walmart. I don't need too much use of a heat gun, so Walmart had this inexpensive model and it's worked fine, but it's not a heavy duty model. So if you find yourself using a heat gun, you need to consider how much you're going to use it and how long you're going to have it turned on at a time. There are 2 settings on this. You'll probably see the number 0 there. There is setting 1 and setting 2. The fan increases in power with settings 1, and then setting 2 is a stronger fan. The same idea as a hair dryer. I'm only going to be putting this on number 1. The risk of doing this, besides damaging the other bearing, is that the paint will dry too quickly and the metal will bubble. So I'm only going to give it about 30 seconds worth of heat right now, and then I'll repeat this during the next hour. The practical reality is that I need the wheelchair for my mobility, and so I need to get this back working as fast as is practical. Anyway, here goes. I just need to reposition my wheelchair because I can't reach and bend right. It makes me quite happy doing these things. I really love doing for myself what is possible. And a little job like this doesn't take too long. This part has initially dried overnight, but the bearings go back on in this area, and I do need the paint cured before I can put the bearings on there, because I'll eventually need to change them out again, and I'd be making myself a bigger headache if I put them on before the paint was fully cured. So that's actually as much heating that I'm going to do at this time. I'll be repeating this once the metal cools back down to room temperature, and it's not that it's hot now, but I'm not going to let it get hot. Okay, if you do this, be really careful and use a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of safety that you need to pay attention to with all this stuff. I hope you're having a good day today, and just before I leave, I want to encourage you to do as much as is possible given your physical constraints. Thank you for the time together today. Bye for now.